Good morning, my YouTube viewers. It is Palestine here, and I wanted to make another video for you. The video that I wanted to make is I wanted to ask the question, is child neglect child abuse? Because I sort of looked it up on Google and you get conflicting answers. I think some people say that child neglect isn't child abuse, and some people say that child neglect is a form of child abuse. Now, in my particular situation, I was neglected, but I was also abused. And so, me personally, I think that neglect is a type of child abuse. And I can tell you that, like my boyfriend, he was in a situation where his older brother beat him up for 9 years, and the mother turned a blind eye to it. So that was definitely neglect. Although his mother didn't personally harm him, she allowed the older son to harm him. So that would, in my opinion, that would constitute neglect. Now, I don't know about American laws, but in UK laws, they have a new law on the books called failure to protect. And so generally what happens in child abuse cases, if one parent is abusing a child, then the other parent will be arrested for failure to protect. So in the UK, they recognize that failing to protect a child is a criminal offense. Although I don't know what it's like in the US. I don't know what the laws in the US are. And in the UK, if a parent is neglecting a child, then at the very least that parent can be put on the child protection register. And I know that because a long time ago I worked as a temp at social services in the child section, and then these children were on the child register, and they were at risk, and the parents were having to attend meetings with social services, and they were saying how these children weren't given what they needed, like clothing and food and things like that. And they threatened that they were going to say that the children were being neglected. So I know in the UK, social services takes child neglect very seriously. In my situation, it was mainly neglect, but some abuse. The social services did get involved when I was in the 1st grade, but I don't think enough was done. We had to go live with our grandmother for 2 years, and then we were sent back to our mother. But I don't think enough was done in my case. I think that because my mother and my father both didn't want children, I think that they should have just taken us away from our parents and adopted us to good families that actually did want children, because my life was not what it could have been. And that's why I'm making this YouTube video, so I can chronicle all of my experiences and talk about what I think. And maybe my really bad experiences will help somebody else, and maybe social services will be able to watch my videos and say, yeah, this is a typical example of an adult that grew up as an unwanted child. I also had an incident with this woman. She's not my friend anymore, and obviously I can't name her because I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. But she had a child as well that she didn't really want, but she kept it. And one of the things that she said to me was, well, she's neglected, but she's not abused. So these people who purposely neglect their children, they make a distinction between being neglected. They say, well, I'm not abusing them, I'm just neglecting them. Like that's supposed to be okay somehow. So, and yeah, I can't talk about this friend. I will talk about her in a future video, but I just say that she did neglect her child, and she seemed to think that because she was only neglecting her child and not abusing her, that she was somehow better than a regular child abuser. And then like with my boyfriend's situation, his mother thinks that because she gave him clean clothes and food to eat, that she was a good mother, while the whole time she was allowing the older brother to beat him up. And he is very affected, very badly affected by all this. And again, I'll have to make another video on that because it's too much for me to go into in this video. So I do think that these parents who neglect their children, they're treading a very fine line between neglect and abuse. And then so you need to investigate whether it is neglect or abuse. But they should be careful because they could be charged with failure to protect if it goes on long enough and then there's an incident when the child is actually harmed. So that's just something to think about. So I will close this video with, is child neglect abuse? And maybe give you something to think about. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. And I look forward to making another video for you very soon.